What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're taking a peek over here at the XRP price chart to see if we can make sense of the price action that's been happening over here with XRP. It's been a little while since we've had a video that really just focuses on the XRP price chart. Been spending a lot of time looking at the macro perspective of all markets, of Bitcoin, of the altcoin market. But today, we're going to focus primarily just here on the XRP price chart and try to tie it all in. And then hopefully it'll kind of make sense on why I've been focusing so much more on the other aspects of the market rather than just focusing on XRP. If you know this, or if you don't, the largest bag that I have in the cryptocurrency market is XRP. It's my primary holding, my largest bag. But I also talk about it very little. I talk a little about the XRP price chart because I'm focusing so much more on the rest of the market. We'll tie all that together on why I do that. But today we'll focus right here on XRP. Now, quick history lesson, obviously, that's the 2017 XRP bull run. That's the 2018 through 2020 bear market. This is the 2020 and 2021 bull run that had a massive pit stop with like an 80% crash that happened in here when the SEC sued Ripple and all US exchanges delisted and suspended trading of XRP. And then it went off and topped out here on April 14th, the day of Coinbase's IPO, right here at about $2. Ever since then, on April 14th, we've obviously been in a pullback or a crash or a downtrend, whatever you want to call it. So we're left with saying, well, what is this entire structure that's happening here for XRP? Is XRP just done for? Is it heading all the way back down? Is it a dead asset? Or are we seeing something more of like what we saw last time where we had kind of a crash, a retrace, a reaccumulation, and then we went off into a bull run? Now, a lot of people will tell you this stuff doesn't matter. I've been in the XRP community for several years. I've been in XRP since back in 2017. I went through this whole bear market. I went through all of the different stories and all the different narratives that come along with the XRP. We have a lot of riddlers in the XRP community. We have a lot of pictures. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Bearable Guy 123, the famous 589. We've also had lots of narratives such as Trump painting magical unicorns with XRP fairy dust. We've had quantum financial system. We've had peg to gold, Fed buyback program, XRP never meant for retail. And that's just a small sample of all of the different narratives that have come along with the XRP community. Oh, and of course, flip the switch. Now, these things help pass time. They help you get through the moments and the tough times. But whether or not that's the right narratives for all of this is whatever. The reason I got into XRP is because I liked how fast it was. I liked how cheap it was. It made a lot of sense for me for cross-border payments because I've participated in cross-border payments for a really important part of my career in my life. I've done a lot of wire transfers in my life. It made absolutely no sense to me that we were still doing business this way. And we still do it that way to this day right now. Here we are, this deep into all of this stuff, and we're still doing wire transfers to this day. Makes no sense to me at all. But that we would revolutionize the way that business would be done and cross-border payments would be done. And that made a lot of sense with me for XRP and for cryptocurrency. Not so much the peg to gold, quantum financial system, Trump, flip the switch, all that kind of stuff. But, a true use case for XRP due to its speed and how inexpensive it is. And it would make a lot of sense if we were all using a lot of XRP and the price went flying to the upside because there's so many transactions are happening. There's so much money tied up in this asset doing international business. But we haven't seen that happen with the price of XRP. We haven't seen that happen with the utility of XRP yet. So the question is, well, what's actually happening with the actual price here? Because we didn't set a new all-time high when things like Ethereum and Bitcoin did here in 2021. We merely just did a retrace in here. So does this spell bigger problems for XRP, or is this really just one of these moments in here? We're getting ready to go on some big magical massive run up in here. Well, the thing that was interesting about 2013 through 2017 for XRP is it had the standard parabolic rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and then break out into a bull run. We had a perfect example of that happen down here for XRP. I've pointed to that many times and how we've seen that happen in various assets. We even had that happen here for XRP with a crash, retrace, reaccumulation, breakout. And that's really what actually happened for Bitcoin here from 2017 through 2021 is that we had a parabolic rise followed by a crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and then breakout. So XRP setup that it had back down in here, pretty classic setup for what happens before a bull run ends up coming in. As we're going through this entire phase right in here, it was very similar to this phase that was happening down in here for XRP. And when we got this breakout in here, it was actually identical to what was happening back in here at this time. In addition, right in here at this moment for XRP back in April of 2017, that's also when Bitcoin was breaking out into a new all-time high. What was happening right in here? Same thing. Bitcoin was breaking out into a new all-time high, so we were catching some steam to get ready to go. But the SEC came in and squashed that afterwards. And within 1 week of Bitcoin breaking from its all-time high, after spending 3 years in a bear market for Bitcoin, it breaks out into its all-time high. The SEC comes out right away and attacks XRP. So we're stuck with the question of what did that impact the price chart, right? Is that a permanent impact on there? Would this have gone much higher than that had that moment not ended up happening? And we'll never know the answer to that. And the only thing we can do is really look at the price chart here and say, well, you know, one thing that this could be is this could be an ABC that happens in here after a big crash, ABC, and then you go on and you set new lows. But the problem with doing that, of course, is you have to say, what would have happened here if the SEC didn't come in, right? Would we have been like way up in here at this point? Would we be sitting up in here? And would all this correcting be taking place up in here right now, right? And we don't know. That's hypothetical, and there's no way we can ever answer that question. So we have to draw from the conclusions of just looking at this chart that either one, this is a parabolic rise followed by a crash, a retrace, and a reaccumulation for a breakout later, or that it's doing just like we just said, that this was an ABC correction in here and this thing's going to go on and set new lows. Well, I've played with Elliott waves on this chart a tremendous amount, and I do have a problem with the idea of it setting new lows. And we'll bounce back and forth here between Elliott waves and this chart right in here. But the problem with it is merely how high we got right here. It doesn't support what an ABC would look like that would eventually crumble down to new lows, but more that it does support what a retrace would look like. And it's going back to look at this structure. Even if we were to say this was wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that this was wave A, and this was wave B, and this big giant thing way down here is wave C for the XRP price chart, we actually got so high that we exceeded the top of wave B over here, even if we make our count in this manner. Now, the count on XRP is very difficult. We could actually say, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we could say A, B, C. Then we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even though waves are crossing each other. But even if we wanted to have the absolute most conservative count humanly possible here on the XRP price chart, to not sit here and say, you know, we're seeing what we want to see, this would be your most conservative count that you could have in here, to say that this was wave A right to here, and that this was wave B, and then wave C takes you all the way back down in here. That's probably an incorrect count on it, but it's the most conservative. It places B at the absolute highest place it could possibly be placed at, which is what we want in order to be fair here, to say if we're even going to consider doing Elliott waves here on XRP, we want to place B as high as humanly possible in order to see if the retracement went and was able to exceed the height of wave B, in which we can put a line right here and see that, yes, I'll get these off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we give that wave A, then we can see that we did indeed exceed the height of wave B. Even though you can clearly see wave B is likely one of these guys way down in here. But even so, we exceeded the height of wave B. In Elliott waves, we don't exceed the height of wave B unless if we're in a bullish count. So like when we go back and we look at Bitcoin from back in 2018, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives you wave A. Then you go back for wave B, and then you go back for wave C. That's your ABC correction. It's also what took place back here in 2014, is that you have your A, B, C correction. But what happens when it goes back into the retrace? The retrace clears the height of wave B here for Bitcoin, giving it a bullish structure. So for XRP, even though the height of wave B is likely one of these down in here, or this one right here, if we were the most conservative and placed it super high up, we can see that we still exceeded the height of wave B. In addition, in bullish counts, when we're climbing up, we could see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then as we A, B, C correct back down, we correct back down to the base of wave 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corrects back down to the base of wave 4. No matter how we want to do this count, if we want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where do we correct back down to? We correct down to the base of wave 4. Or if we want to take all of that off there and we want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still corrects down to the base of wave 4. And then this move up in here comes above the height of wave B, which is likely somewhere down here, but the most conservative count puts it here at about $1.75. So if we were in a bearish trend, right? So like you can look here at Elliott wave, so we can see at the ending here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it does come back down to the base of wave 4 right in here, right? But what happens during retracements, right? We don't get very far. You don't get a big full-blown move back up in a retracement and then head your way back down. You're going to get caught out here down at the bottom. So one of the big problems on the XRP price chart is if we say that's an A, B, C structure in here and we count it out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's not a good sign. But the problem here, of course, is that the SEC came in and squashed right in here on XRP the moment that that Bitcoin was breaking out into a new all-time high. So did that impact the wave count here for XRP? Because at that time when all that was happening in there's Ethereum, right? It kept on going, but we had a clear impact happen on the XRP price chart. Either way, the retracement goes above the height of wave B. So the full-blown structure, it's hard to make the argument that it is going to go on and set new lows when it did hold down here at the base of wave 4, and that this move up in here went higher than the height of wave B. I know for a lot of people, this, Elliott waves is not something you spend a whole lot of time on. It's something that I do spend time on in here. And from a rule perspective, there's just two rules here that don't show that XRP is going to break down into new lows. And that would be one, that we held wave 4, and then that we went on to above the height of wave B. That supports much more of a reconsolidation followed by a breakout move to happen for XRP than it does for a new low to come in. Okay, so then the question comes, well, what about the short-term time frame, right? What is all this stuff happening down in here? And that's where a lot of the challenges come in on looking at what's happening with the rest of the market. Because in here, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, looking just fine. That big break right in there, that caused problems, right? Now it comes the question of, okay, well, is this an ABC, right? Is this A, B, C? Do we have the same thing happening here? Do we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by an A, B, C? And then where things start getting a little bit sketchy on the wave count right in here, is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a big A, B, C? And that what we have happening in here currently right now in this time frame is just similarity to what we had happening in here, where we come in, we take out this level, we take out this level. And we got boring sideways working our way out for a while, and just going to be a rough ride for this is over a year. Or that if it is a crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and that this whole time period in here is like this whole time period in here, and that the future that we have ahead of us is a long period of consolidation going sideways for a long time. In this circumstance, right? About a year and a half, right? A year and a half in here. I don't think anybody wants that before any price action would come for XRP. And so the things that I look at on here is you can clearly see all the nuances from Elliott wave counts in there. And then if we look at gaps, right? If you want to look at open gaps that are still left below here, we've closed most gaps. And I would assume, I could be wrong, of course, but with the SEC sell-off, with what happened in there, you scared serious XRP people out of their XRP, where they said, I'm sitting on the sidelines, I'm not participating. We're talking people who have Twitter accounts with thousands and thousands of followers saying, I'm getting out, I'm waiting, when all that happened in there. So you had diehard believers who were selling their XRP during that time period. You had the Grayscale XRP Trust dumping all of their XRP at that time. You had massive amounts of selling down in here. I just couldn't imagine us going down below where the SEC sell-off took place at. But then you say, okay, well, where are the gaps that happen to be within here? Have we closed most of the gaps? We could see how far XRP has gotten right down in here has that fully completed closing these gaps? I mean, we look back here, we closed most gaps down in here. These were gap closures the whole way up. Then when the SEC sell-off happened, gap closures happened in here. Gap closures happened in here. Really, the big gap here in XRP is this whole time period right in here, right? So we'll swap to a smaller time frame in there to get a better look at it and say, okay, well, is that good enough in there? Or is there still some space down in here? Or is there some space down in here that still needs to be taken care of? Or are we good enough? Close call. Hard to make that call right in there. So when I look at XRP and I say, if it's going to go on a bull run, what are the cases in which it goes on a bull run? And again, like I said in the beginning of this video, I've been in here since 2017. I've seen all the narratives. I've seen Trump magical unicorn dust, quantum financial system, peg to gold, Fed buyback program, all the positive news narratives out there. None of those things have impacted the chart. There's only one thing that has impacted the chart of XRP, and that is what the rest of the market is doing. So as we can see right now, XRP's sitting at, I just drew that line right there of how far we've dipped. Look to the left. We could see over here, this was very much a resistance level, support level, resistance level. Here we are back at it as a support level. And this has been ongoing now for over 5 years of this particular price level right in here. So is it finally going to be a launch pad? Well, the question comes of what is the rest of the market doing and how has XRP performed in relation to it? And so we'll take a look at this chart right here, which overlays about 20 different assets in the cryptocurrency market and how XRP has performed during time periods of the entire market. Now, the thing about this too, before we get into this, is I know not a lot of people like to hear these types of things. Like I mentioned, Trump, peg to gold, quantum financial system, not meant for retail, flip the switch, 589. That's a lot of the romanticism about XRP. And I've seen TXMC really kind of talk about that with Bitcoin and how there's a romanticism with Bitcoin. And I've always said that too, is that there's a lot of talk of store of value or even the Phoenix Rising, all that kind of stuff, right? That's the romantic part of owning these assets, right? And when we look at charts like this, it really removes a lot of the romanticism that we have about these assets and kind of just paints a picture of what they've really done. And that's like how I like to keep my mindset, is to just stick to what has this thing really done. There's a lot of romance that can come with these things. There's a lot of hope and optimism. And I think all of us want to become multimillionaires with everything that we own. But, is the romance real? Or is this real? So, we can look to the past and on here, this is going to be the Bitcoin market cap. This purple one right here is going to be the altcoin market cap. And this thick black one is going to be the XRP market cap. And we can look throughout history to see how XRP has performed and when it's had its actual bull runs. And we can look down to the rest of the assets within the market at that time to see that the altcoin market was rising, Bitcoin was rising. All of these assets, all at the exact same time, were all going into big, massive runs at the exact same time that XRP was. So the price of XRP when it was appreciating in 2017 was not an independent news-driven thing or something that happened with a flip switch or anything like that or anything romantic about XRP for when the price rose. It rose because the whole market together was rising. And then we can see this next time period where XRP was rising here in 2017. And we can also see at the exact same time, the rest of the market was rising too. We were having big runs happening everywhere in the market. We could see the altcoin market cap really taking off, even leading before XRP was right in here, right? Really getting really high into Bitcoin's retracement. That's where XRP really took off, was into Bitcoin's retracement. We could see all these altcoins down in here all surging at the exact same time while XRP was. There was nothing really romantic about what was happening with XRP at the time. Merely it was behaving with the rest of the market. We could see that XRP has a tendency to crash with the rest of the market, a tendency to drift with the rest of the market, tendency to pop with the rest of the market, a tendency to pull back with the rest of the market. And that even when we were climbing there in April of 2021, that time period right in here, look what was happening with the rest of the market, right? The whole market was rising at that time period. So there was nothing in particular happening with XRP right there for that price to rise that was independent to XRP. And then we look at the pullback that happened in here for XRP. We look at the rest of the market. That looks pretty identical to me. Then these roll up and then the drifting and the drifting. It's all been acting just like the rest of the market. So I say to myself, well, okay, I can fall in love with all the romance of all the different narratives of what's going to happen, or I can stick to looking at things of how XRP has behaved previously. And this chart makes it incredibly clear that XRP performs in relation to what the rest of the market is doing. So you obviously see I spend a lot of time on my channel now talking about Bitcoin, talking about the altcoin market, rather than sitting there dissecting just the XRP price chart alone, because history has shown for XRP that in big runs to end up happening, the conditions need to be present in the rest of the market at the exact same time. We will rise with the market. We will consolidate with the market, we'll rise with the market, we'll crash with the market, we'll drift with the market, we'll crash with the market, and we'll rise with the market all at the exact same time until something ends up changing. And that's where the romance comes in, right? We're tied to the market right now, but we come up with all the romance narratives for why we're not going to be one day, right? But I could tell you, after 5 years of being in here and 5 years of owning XRP, it has still remained true to this day that we just are drifting with the market or crashing with the market or rising with the market. So I looked at the XRP price chart right now and I say, well, where's the price that we've pulled down to so far? We pulled back to the level that was the resistance that led to the absolute blast back in 2017. It's the same level that held for about a year. And then it's the same level that held us down for about a year. And we're sitting right on top of it. So is this an important level? It sure seems like it to me. Tons of reactionary levels that have happened down in here for this to be an important level to pull back to, which at the same time, the altcoin market finds support on top of its 200-week moving average, which is also its previous all-time high. And so has the Bitcoin market cap, pulling back to its previous all-time high, same place, right? Not to mention the whole crashing structure that has taken place in here, incredibly similar to what we've seen in the past of how these crashes can happen. If Bitcoin is to go back into a retracement in here, get back into its retracement levels, that also mirrors what happened for XRP to go on a big, massive run at the same time back in 2018. So conditionally, the only times that XRP has been in a bull run have been moments where we've broken out into new all-time highs or going back into retracements. And until things change, until the lawsuit wraps up and what that means, or if the macroeconomic conditions change, or if the crypto economic conditions change, I just kind of have to say, well, what is the market doing? And is there any circumstances where the whole market can move up together? Well, the whole market moves up together in circumstances of which Bitcoin is breaking out into a new all-time high or Bitcoin's going back into a retracement. Is there any possibility that Bitcoin could be going back into a retracement? And well, we know what this ending crashing structure has looked like. We know what a move back to the upside could look like. How that consolidation would play out in there is anybody's guess. I certainly couldn't guess what the consolidation could look like so long as we even hold this level down in here. But even if we did go back into here and XRP did go on some big bull run, what would be the prices that I would be looking for? And it would still be the exact same thing that I've always looked for. And it's what Bitcoin and Ethereum did. And these were the price targets and the expectations that I had for Bitcoin and I had for Ethereum. At the same time, I've had these same expectations for XRP, in that this is as far as Bitcoin would get. This is as far as Ethereum would get and as far as XRP would get. And we don't know right now if there's something fundamentally broken in the market that's going to prevent XRP from doing that. But it would be my same thought process in here that this is where the expectations were for XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. It's where Bitcoin and Ethereum both got to. If the XRP price chart could pull off something similar and get out to a 4.236 extension like Bitcoin and Ethereum did, and get you out there to about $11. Now, of course, you have to run the math on that. What does that mean for the market cap of XRP? It means the market cap gets up there to like $600 billion. Is there any way the market cap of XRP could ever get there? Or is there any historical precedent to say that it's even possible for it to? Well, if Ethereum's top is in, if Ethereum goes back into some kind of retracement like this, and then XRP catches all the way up, is that humanly possible? Is that chart possible for XRP to be able to bypass Ethereum by that much, right? Is it possible for the XRP price chart to be about 26% higher than that of Ethereum? Well, let's go back through the past and see if it's ever happened before. We've had it happen right in here in which the market cap of XRP right here was about 55% higher than Ethereum. And then at the end of the 2017-2018 bull run, at one point, the market cap of XRP was 55% higher than Ethereum as well. So it has happened before where that number has been hit. That's 26% higher than that, but it certainly has happened before in the past. So that is not as romantic as $50. It's not as romantic as 72 or 100 or 589 or $1,000. It's not. It's just sticking to the charts and how the market has behaved. A 4.236 extension would be equivalent to what Bitcoin and Ethereum did on their market cap charts. And we have seen it before where XRP does shoot up in a ridiculous straight line and can get 55% higher in market cap than Ethereum. What would be the catalyst? If I could imagine the catalyst, it would probably be the SEC lawsuit gets all wrapped up. It gets relisted on exchanges. We have NFTs, we have the excitement, all that good stuff. And I think that's possible. And that looks like later this year, those things will be coming. But it's definitely not as romantic as a $35,000 XRP or 1,000 or 589 or 100 or 72. It's 11. I still stick with that being the most realistic thing based on how the market has behaved before, so long as this market can turn up together. And the thing we would need for that is probably to see Bitcoin go back into some kind of retracement and Ethereum go back into some kind of retracement at the same time. And for that altcoin market cap to be able to get through the resistance that it's at right now, right in here, right, while still maintaining these lows and maybe consolidating or just getting a breakout. But any further dips down in the market cap, it tells you the story, right? It tells you the story that if the market cap falls, what will happen to XRP? It will also fall because XRP's market cap is included in that number. It's included in that 603 billion right in there. So it's not possible for this to fall and for XRP to rise because XRP is included in here. And if XRP is going to get to 600 billion and be an $11 asset, then this has to rise. So I focus on it. I pay attention to it because of how XRP has performed all throughout history, following what the rest of the market is doing. And I wouldn't be surprised if the bottom of XRP is in, or if it has to come down here and hit these little numbers right down in here, 23, 25 cents, something like that. Although it is at a supportive level, and that the altcoin markets hold the 200-week moving average, and Bitcoin's held that previous all-time high. All those things are pretty positive things to say, hey, that could be the bottom right there for XRP, along with it being such a supportive historical level. And if it moves up, we've seen how it behaves before. It can move up in a straight line. Even when these moments were happening in here, these are essentially straight lines. The time periods of when XRP rises are super short-lived. It doesn't matter what time period you're looking at. It is always short-lived and it's over before you know it. Every single time. Every moment that had a big rise was over before you know it. And it's not unusual for us in the XRP community to spend our time period in times like we're in right now, where it's just waiting around because that's how it always is. There's never a time period, like look back through this chart. There's never a time period where XRP just rises slowly, ever. It is always straight lines every single time. No matter where we're at, it is always super fast moves to the upside. So it's kind of just like sitting around waiting for that moment to happen. And if the rest of the market is primed for something like that to occur. But if we get a bull run in XRP, I stick with it. I think $11 is reasonable. That's what Ethereum did. That's what Bitcoin did. It would bypass Ethereum just by a little bit like we've seen before. But at the same time, we could try to fall in love with all the romance of XRP all we want, but it just, this stuff is important. Looking at the altcoin market, looking at Bitcoin, because it's always been important. And I've been here long enough to know that a lot of stories get sold to us, a lot of narratives get sold to us to keep us hanging on for a little bit that just are not real. I do think it's a fantastic asset. And when it gets relisted, I think FOMO would go nuts. All the OGs in this game, all these people in Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that know dang well that they can't afford not to own XRP if it was relisted on exchanges. But we've got to get through that moment. We've got to see the market turn around. And that's why I'm focusing a lot on macro. I'm focusing a lot on Bitcoin, focusing a lot on the market caps, because this stuff matters. And if we can get that stuff to turn up, man, that's more positive for the XRP price chart. And so don't ever think I've forgotten about XRP. It's still my number one holding. It's my most important holding to me. But I have to be a realist. I have to pay attention to this stuff because it has mattered so much throughout the past. And I can't sit here and think this time is different because it hasn't been. If I would have thought this time was different at any point over the last 5 years, I'd be incredibly disappointed. It hasn't. And there's been times where I thought maybe, but it hasn't, right? It's just followed the market. So that's where I'm going to keep my eyes. So I don't know if that's really what everybody wanted to hear or not. And this video has gotten over 30 minutes at this point, but this is, what my thoughts are with XRP. It's my largest bag, so I'm sure people want to hear what I think about it. I see it's on a pretty important support level, but I do know that it does behave with the rest of the market. I know that we're getting much closer to having NFTs over here on the XRP ledger. I'm excited for that. I know we're getting much closer to this case coming to an end at some point. That's exciting. But until then, looking to what the rest of the market is doing seems to be the most important thing because it's been the most important thing for the last 5 years. And that's not the romantic answer. That's not the we're going to the moon answer. But if the market can show signs of strength, that's super positive for XRP. And that's what I'm really looking for. And that's what I'm hunting for in this market right now. When I'm looking at Bitcoin, when I'm looking at the altcoin market cap, I'm like, can we show signs of strength? Can we show signs of recovery in the whole market? Because if we can, that is great for this bad boy. And then maybe a romantic narrative will come one day. And maybe I'll look like a big dingus for saying all of those things. But this has been our path so far. And the best thing we can cheer for right now to start saying, hey, this thing's getting ready to skyrocket, is if we can get the rest of the market to turn around. So that's why my focus has been on it a whole lot more for those who have been like, dude, where are the XRP videos, man? Here we go. This is where we are. We're just trying to get the rest of this market to turn around right now and looking for those signs coming from the rest of the market. And once we get those, we'll probably be paying a whole lot more attention to this thing. And oh, by the way, we talk about the Bitcoin dominance all the time, right? There's an important reason why we talk about that too, right here. This is XRP bull run. This is XRP bull run. This is XRP big fat retracement from 20 cents to $2. If this thing breaks down, that's positive for XRP. So I focus on this because it's important for XRP too, based on the historical precedent set by it. So if you're an XRP holder, you should probably be cheering for that. And I am. And when NFTs hit the XRP ledger, I'm going to do my best to help encourage and educate people on how to do NFTs on the XRP ledger. So I think the future is bright for XRP, especially with all the things that are coming to the XRP ledger and the updates and the excitement of NFTs. And then when the lawsuit gets wrapped up, it's like, oh my gosh, all of us who have been dealing with that for almost 2 years at this point, it'd be such a sigh of relief to have that behind us. And maybe those things will provide some type of catalyst behavior in the market. But until then, I try to stay as realistic as possible by keeping an eye on what the rest of the market is doing currently right now. And when those events get to us, then hey, we can take a look at it when those events approach, when NFTs hit the XRP ledger, when the lawsuit comes to a conclusion. But even in those circumstances, I still stick with the same stuff for the market cap for XRP, just like Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. And of course, I won't let go of all my XRP. If we got to $11, I'd still hold on to a ton of it for maybe the romance. But nothing changes. And, it's still just sitting back and waiting for me for this market to turn up. That's the only thing I can focus on right now. I try not to talk too much about the lawsuit and everything like that because it's a cloud that's been hanging over us for such a long time. And there's plenty of people who talk about it all the time. But I try not to talk about it every single day because it's just not something that I want a cloud hanging over my life every single day talking about that. I like to focus on other things. And so the things that I can focus on are on what the rest of the market is doing and how XRP performs in those situations. So if the market can turn up, if the Bitcoin dominance can break down, those are positive things for XRP. And we'll see what happens when the XLS20 update happens and we get NFTs. And we'll see what happens when that lawsuit comes to a conclusion. Or maybe a surprise and some settlement comes at some point. Fingers crossed, man. But till then, sit back and wait. I'm going to keep an eye on the market. And hopefully the market conditions can at least give us some improvement to look at. Till then, wait for those updates, wait for the lawsuit. All right, guys, that's going to be it. This video is way too long. Thank you to those who stuck around all the way to the end. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow me over here on Twitter at BCBacker. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, Just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.